Yo, what up, YouTube? Big Lou tapping in with What It Do with Big Lou. So this is another little story to piggyback on the story I dropped the other night of my first time in the county jail. So uh, this is the same time period. So after I everything transpired in the booking area, and I got put in the cells, that cell in the back by myself, and they chicken winged me, almost broke my arm. I was escorted to the ag seg. I think I was on building 7 side, because in the ag seg there's 2 sides, 7 side, 8 side. I believe I went to 7 side, and I was up in the corner, the last cell in the corner. I don't remember. I couldn't tell you what number it was. I don't even remember. It was my first time in the county jail, and my neighbor. I could hear my neighbor in there. He didn't have, his nights and days and nights weren't too well. He was coughing and all kinds of different things. Anyways, we ended up meeting through the door in the vent, the tray slot. Sometimes they leave our tray slots and we talk at the tray slot or through the vent. And he introduced himself as Robert. I introduced myself as Louis. And then we ended up getting released together. But we went to two different courthouses, but we still got released together that night. And then we were taken by van to the booking area, back to the booking area where you dress back out into your clothes, street clothes, and then we walked out together, and then we again introduced ourselves. This time in person with the handshake, and like I said, he introduced himself as Robert and me as Louis, and that was like 1996, 1997, and that ended up being a nice little friendship for about between 15, 15 between 15 and 20 years. We'll just put it like that, because I'm not sure. I don't remember when he passed, and I don't remember the last time I seen him. But when I seen him, he was he was anywhere between 40, I would say 45, anywhere between 45 and 50, 40, 42 and 50 at the time. I don't really know, but he had salt and pepper hair, salt and pepper mustache, more black than gray. But as the years went on, he got mostly all gray, and I think his people were there to pick him up. My people were there to pick me up, and then I ended up running into him a few more times after that, and where we're hanging out, kicking it at a park, talking a lot, and then I actually ended up doing time with him again in the honor farm. The only time I had been to the honor farm, and he would always tell me, he goes, "Hey, don't if there's something you really need help with, as far as the politics stuff like that, talk to him, but don't bring really no heat to him, please," he would tell me. And there was a reason why. I'm not gonna get it all into that as far as organizations and all that, but this individual that I had met back then when I was a young man, uh, and developed a relationship with, was none other than the one and only Robert Macaron Nevarez of Stkne, and very key influential member of a certain organization in the 70s, and he played a big role in certain things, and I'm just gonna leave it at that. But yeah, me and him used to hang out, and I'd run into him, and I just, he was, like I said, he was a bigger than life. Well, I don't know if you say bigger than life, but he was a urban legend type. You just see him at the time. He's older. At the time when he was doing all these things, he was in his 20s, very young man. I want to say he did. I remember the first times I used to hear about him, I was told he did like a 17-year stretch from like the early 70s to like 88, and then later on I heard it was like 71 to 85. So I'm not really sure what he did as far as his time on the stretch, but he was in there. He did a lot of stabbings, got stabbed, and you can just tell when he was, if you didn't know him and you just seen him from a ways, he'd be pacing back and forth, smoking with his little beanie hat, and he have his beanie hat on and cap on and stuff, and he was just out of central casting for that type of, what they had going on at that time in the 70s, that era, and the movements involved, and he was a hell of a dude. We used to talk a lot, and he was pretty sharp, man, and I enjoyed those times when I used to talk to him. And there was a couple other cats too around his age, give or take a year or two that were involved in certain things as well, and I used to hear them talk too, and it was fun. They used to tell a lot of stories, and a lot of it was a lot of funny stories, a lot of scary stories. You know what I mean? Like landing in certain prisons that were considered the home of the enemy, the so-called enemy. And the near times that he got almost stabbed, and the times he did get stabbed, and just all the funny stories that he had also to tell back then of other guys that we knew from the area, older dudes that were from his era. He would tell funny stories about this and that, or you wouldn't believe what this dude did. He almost got me caught up in this, or just different stories. And you know, uh, he was even up until in the '60s, man. He still didn't play that, man. I even heard a story one time that well, actually, he told me, he said somebody was going door to door selling something, and his wife answered the door, and the dude was giving his wife a bad time, and he popped up from wherever he was at in the house, and he was chasing this dude with a weapon. You know what I mean? And that's just the dude kind of dude he was. He was already in his 60s by that time, and he was coming. He don't disrespect my wife and stuff like that. But yeah, rest in peace, Macaron, Robert Nevarez from Stockton. Um, Definitely real deal Holyfield. One of them guys that was about the business, and he could turn up at any time and get jiggy with it. You know what I'm saying? So I just want to tell a little story about him and when I first met him and stuff like that. But anyways, with that being said, Big Lou with What It Do with Big Lou tapping out. All right.